city divided by crime, overrun by corruption. District 13 is ground zero, and the clock is ticking.
If you've watched my Double Dragon District B13 video, you'll know that I pretty much adore the first film. When action movies are like so by the numbers and quite dull, it was refreshing seeing something with so much energy and so stylish that it stood out of the pack. It was all about the action, and the pacing never let up. I would definitely label it as one of the best straight up action movies from the past decade. Both Raffaele and Bell return as Damien Leto, and someone, yet again, dares to blow up District 13 shit up. Damien is framed and Leto discovers the beginnings of a police conspiracy. Again, they must join forces to protect District 13 from the greedy politicians. Sure, it's pretty much a rehash of the original, but like Crank, the sequel amps up everything up to 11. Ultimatum's signature parkour scenes up the ante, and the action choreography is even more extravagant. It's hella entertaining. Unfortunately, like Crank, the first film feels like something special because it's so refreshing. Now with the sequel, it's not so fresh, and you're basically watching the same movie. This sort of thing doesn't bother me personally, but seeing how people have bigger and better expectations for sequel nowadays, it might be a bit disappointed. But to be honest, I was disappointed in Ultimatum. I had a lot of fun watching the first 2/3 of the movie, but the last act was chaotic, cheesy, and anticlimactic. The film created an interesting mid-bad guy. You know, the right hand of the real bad guy. This guy was slick, big, and seemed pretty menacing overall. They build him up through most of the movie, even a bit before his big confrontation, only to get dispatched with a swift kick to the balls. All of this great choreography, the build-up, and that's all we get? Hell, they fought in a Bobo motherfucker in the original, and there was barely any build-up to that. Maybe the filmmaker thought another fight scene might be redundant, but that's why we were watching the fucking thing. There's also this plot element involving D13 being segregated by gang and race. I thought this might be a pretty interesting element, which it was when they started to have a war with the police, but again, in the third act it kind of falls apart. There were a couple of interesting characters in the gang, but some of them start to become like Jar Jar Binks of Ultimatum, as they attribute to the majority of the corny elements. Some of the elements of the screenplay are also weak. Leto breaks into a jail cell easily through a conveniently placed hole in the roof, and gang leaders join forces quite easily for being such hard asses. It's little things like these that popped up that seem to come from just lazy writing. Overall grade is C+. I know I bagged on the movie most of the time, but I was really digging it until the final act. The finale in the first was pretty damn epic. It'd be hard to top the Damien Leto fight. It didn't even seem that they tried. It was sort of a lazy push towards a finish line. I definitely recommend this as a rental, but beware about blind buying because this movie ends with a bit of a whimper.
Don't look down.